No matter how much you try to will it into existence, Doug Ford is not going to jail. Let's take a look at some historical precedent about this to see why. The last big political scandal of this magnitude would have been the gas plant scandal. Basically, right before an election, Dalton McGuinty and the Liberals canceled 2 gas plants, which resulted in tons of fines for taxpayers. But McGuinty and his chief of staff tried to cover it up, including by deleting hard drives. And his chief of staff was sentenced to jail for 4 months. And he wasn't even sentenced until 2018, 7 years after the incident occurred. And the judge was not soft on him, calling the conduct egregious and calling it political bullshit. But he only ended up actually staying behind bars for 35 days. And while this might not be up to date, since the scandal occurred, we can see on his LinkedIn what he did. He was the director of a hockey club, he was the president of an investment firm, and he was the director of the Kensington Brewing Company. All of these were before 2018 and say to present, so it's probably out of date. Oh, and in that time, he was also the governor of the OHL. So why is Doug Ford not going to jail? Even if it does end up being racketeering, even if Doug Ford did do something illegal, even if he does get convicted, he won't spend a single day behind bars. And the Conservative Party is already setting up their patsy, the chief of staff for the housing minister. Now, in theory, this dude could roll on the housing minister and on Ford, getting them into loads of trouble by divulging information that could prove that Ford directly did these things. But what does he have to gain from doing that? Livingston committed the crime for McGuinty and served a month in jail, and now I'm pretty sure he's living just fine. Similarly, if this guy bites the bullet and goes to jail for 1 to 4, maybe 6 months max, he'll get out of jail and he'll probably be set up with a cozy job with the Conservatives or some other form of lobbying group or some other thing that Doug Ford is connected to. Because politics, regardless of political party, is kinda like the mafia when it comes to going to jail. So no, Doug Ford is not going to jail. And most likely Doug Ford will never see his day in court, regardless of whether or not there actually was something illegal that occurred, which it kind of seems like it was a little illegal. But that's just the story of Doug Ford's life, being a drug dealer, doing things that are illegal, like handing out money for votes in an election, and then having no consequences for it. The egregious and ostensibly large physical embodiment of white male privilege.